I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
And and I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it that were like, surely that couldn't be, because a whole place can't be like, weird town, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them and they tell you don't go to the house on the hill, and it's like that.
Mel Gibson attempted to warn us about the hidden evils of this world countless times in the past 30 years. Whether he was outing predatory Hollywood elites or attacking the president, he refused to hold his tongue on controversial topics, which made some very powerful people upset with him.
Mel Gibson just shocked the world after he revealed the dark truth on why Val Kilmer vanished from Hollywood without explanation. One moment he was a leading man, the next, he disappeared from the A-list overnight. Y'all, Mel Gibson decided to break his silence and expose the shocking truth behind Kilmer's refusal to obey the shady Hollywood rules and how they made him pay dearly for it. So join me today as we figure out what really happened to Val and what shocking thing he was asked to sacrifice. Y'all, the truth is far more darker than you can ever imagine.
It's pretty much based on money, the system here.
It is.
Yeah.
The system is completely based on money.
Yeah.
The studio system.
Yeah.
To a degree, I think the way I hook into the system is based on money.
Is there a collective ethos, or somebody once said my problem was I didn't understand the social contract. Yeah, I now understand what that means.
Yeah.
Do you understand it?
The social contract?
Yeah.
I think I do.
Yeah. What is it for you?
The social contract.
So in order to fully understand this story, we will have to take a trip down memory lane. You see, back in the day, Val Kilmer wasn't just starring in movies, he was the movie. This man was Hollywood's golden boy, youngest ever to get into Juilliard, crazy talented and so magnetic it hurt. Yeah, he was a little cocky, but with hits like Top Secret, Top Gun, The Doors, and Tombstone under his belt, he had every reason to be. And when he stepped into that iconic bat suit for Batman Forever in 1995, that was it, Hollywood royalty. But just when it seemed like Val was untouchable, poof, he was gone. When Batman and Robin came around, Val was MIA. Enter George Clooney, no warning, no explanation, just silence. Well, the silence didn't last forever. Director Joel Schumacher finally spilled the tea in an interview with The Independent, and let me tell you, he did not hold back. This wasn't just subtle shade, this was a Category 5 drag. Joel called Val Kilmer psychotic, y'all. Not difficult, not complicated, psychotic. And at the height of their feud, Joel never held back when it came to bashing Val. In a 1996, Joel had gotten so fed up with Val that during an interview with Entertainment Weekly, he made his feelings heard. We had a physical pushing match. He was being irrational and ballistic with the first AD, the cameraman, the costume people. He was badly behaved, he was rude and inappropriate. I was forced to tell him that this would not be tolerated for one more second. Then we had 2 weeks where he did not speak to me, but it was bliss. And after that came the beginning of the end for Val. You see, word started going around that Val was getting blacklisted behind the scenes.
But do you think that people found it difficult to work with you because of that?
Yeah, what's the one past difficult? Impossible?
Impossible.
Yeah, I'm kind of blacklisted. I haven't gotten a studio job in 15 years.
Oh, and get this, according to insiders, it wasn't even about Val being hard to work with. Nope, the real tea? It was his refusal to play the Hollywood game. The industry didn't blackball him because he was wild and on set. They blackballed him because he wouldn't shut up and follow orders. Guys, Val Kilmer made the ultimate mistake. He actually thought Hollywood was about the art, about the craft, about raw talent and passion. But nah, the powers that be wanted silence, obedience, and a pretty face that didn't ask too many questions. He didn't just step out of line, he refused to walk the line at all. And in Tinseltown, that's a one-way ticket to getting erased. Now this is where things get real sketchy, y'all. Let's talk timeline, because once you connect the dots, it's giving blacklist energy. Between 1998 and 1999, Val Kilmer basically ghosts Hollywood. And he ain't the only one. Mel Gibson? Boom. Goes from king of the box office to scrambling for roles unless he's the one cutting the check. Wesley Snipes? Tossed in prison over some tax mess that his accountant was supposedly responsible for. Brendan Fraser? Straight up disappears after speaking out about abuse in the industry. Tell me that doesn't feel calculated. Tell me that's not a pattern. And here's where it gets extra juicy. Because Mel Gibson, back in 1998, he low-key said the quiet part out loud. Like man pulled a mic drop before people even had Twitter. What he said? Well, let's just say, it might explain why so many stars suddenly vanished like they never existed. Now hold up, because this next part, it's straight out of a conspiracy thriller, and it's got the internet connecting dots like crazy. Picture it, 1999. Stanley Kubrick drops Eyes Wide Shut, a whole movie about secret societies, masked elites, and freaky cult-like parties. Basically a giant metaphor for the dark corners of Hollywood that nobody wants to talk about. But here's the kicker. Kubrick dies just days after delivering his first cut.
Director Stanley Kubrick, one of film's greatest yet most controversial figures, died today.
And A Clockwork Orange has died at the age of 7.
Eyes Wide Shut, the last film made by Stanley Kubrick, who died on Sunday.
And I'm not talking a peaceful farewell either. He passed before he could approve the final version. Then bam, allegedly 25 minutes of that film got chopped, completely vanished. What was in those missing scenes? That's the million-dollar question. And guess what else happened that same year? Yep, Val Kilmer dipped from Hollywood's A-list without so much as a press statement. Coincidence? Or did he see too much too? Now let's talk symbolism. Kilmer's Batman? Cold, distant, haunted. A broken man behind the mask. Sounds a lot like someone who's worn too many faces in an industry that eats its own. And if you've seen his 2021 documentary Val, you already know. This man kept everything. Home videos, on-set footage, intimate behind-the-scenes clips. Almost like he knew one day he'd have to prove what he lived through.
I'm an actor. I've lived a magical life, and I've captured quite a bit.
Y'all, this wasn't just acting. This was survival. Okay, now, let's talk about this chilling part of the story, because it ain't just about what happened to Val Kilmer, it's about why. When you watch Val, it's not just home movies and Hollywood throwbacks. It feels like a man documenting his own erasure, like he knew the industry was trying to wipe him out. Not for bad acting, not for box office flops, but for knowing too much. And then comes the part that sends shivers down your spine, the island. Yeah, that island. The one linked to Epstein, the guest lists, the sealed documents, the people in power suddenly going real quiet. And here's what got people side-eyeing hard Kilmer's fall from grace. Lines up suspiciously well with when all those whispers around Epstein's world started getting louder. Like, what if Val refused something? What if he spoke up? Now fast forward to when the script for Sound of Freedom hits the scene. A movie about child trafficking based on real-life whistleblower and former Homeland Security agent Tim Ballard. The type of project that should have made waves. But did it? Nope. It wrapped filming in 2018. You'd think that'd be a huge deal, right? Especially with the kind of story it tells. But instead, that movie got ghosted. Hollywood started passing it around like a cursed file. Nobody wanted to touch it. And just when it might have seen the light of day, boom, Disney buys 20th Century Fox in 2019. And guess what? They inherit Sound of Freedom and lock it away like it never existed. No promo, no press, just disappeared. So now the question is, what was Hollywood so scared of? Why were stories like this constantly being buried? And most importantly, who was doing the burying? You can either play the game or you can disappear. Who? Let that one sink in for a second. Because when someone with Mel Gibson's clout says something like that, you already know it's deeper than just bad blood or creative disagreements. It's giving, gatekeeping on a whole other level. And remember, Mel wasn't just anyone. He was the guy at one point. Box office gold, critical darling, until boom, he wasn't. So when he starts backing films like Sound of Freedom and speaking out about the dark underbelly of Hollywood, it hits different. This ain't some random conspiracy theorist in a YouTube basement. This is a guy who used to sit at the table with these people. And now, he's ringing the alarm bell. And let's not forget, this all lines up with how Disney shelved that movie. A film literally about saving kids from the worst of the worst. And instead of championing it, they act like it's radioactive. Meanwhile, Mel is out here practically begging people to wake up and see what's really going on behind the red carpet. So now the streets are asking, did Kilmer walk away, or was he pushed? Did Mel lose favor, or was he blacklisted for exposing something he wasn't supposed to? Why did a movie about protecting children become taboo in the halls of the most powerful studio in the world? Mel Gibson knew the game early, and he wasn't afraid to call it what it was: spiritually bankrupt, shady, and deeply hypocritical. And the more time he spent in it, the louder he got. He dragged Hollywood for how it objectifies women, uses kids like props, and straight up shields predators behind the scenes. So when Sound of Freedom finally broke free from Disney's vault and started tearing up the box office, you better believe Mel's support of the film wasn't just business. It was personal, and let's talk numbers. A $14 million indie film making nearly $100 million worldwide without the backing of a major studio. That's wild. That's power. but instead of praise, all we got from mainstream outlets like CNN, Rolling Stone, and The Guardian was a bunch of dismissive headlines calling it conspiracy bait. No real critiques, no serious analysis, just shade for days. Meanwhile, Mel's still hustling. He's been gassing up Lethal Weapon 5, claiming it's the best script out of the entire franchise. He says it's ready to go, it's locked and loaded, but nobody wants to make it, and the gag? Even he can't explain why. But let's be honest, it's not about the script, it's about his name. Studios see him as a risk, a liability, a whistleblower who's been talking too much truth for too long. And Mel's not wrong to be frustrated. Look around, there are people in Hollywood who've done way worse and still got welcomed back with open arms, big deals, and red carpet rollouts. But Mel, still in the penalty box. So yeah, he's asking the question we're all low-key thinking. Why is it that when certain people speak up or step out of line, their whole career gets erased while others get second, third, and fourth chances like nothing happened? Something ain't adding up, and Mel Gibson's been trying to tell us for years. Anyways, so what do y'all think? Is it all just coincidence, or are these stars telling us something we're not ready to hear? Let me know in the comments, because this rabbit hole only goes deeper, and don't forget to check out our other videos for even more shocking celebrity drama. Till next time, bye.